Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Tulinave Mwamila from Water Institute, an agent of the Ministry of Water in Tanzania. I'm also a member of the Management Committee of the IWA Rainwater Harvesting Management Specialist Group. I'm here to present on a subject of rainwater knowledge and skills transfer through dances and plays. Here's the content of my presentation. Tanzania is an East African country with a population of over 61 million. This is from a recent census of 2022, with freshwater coverage over 61,500 kilometers squared. And among other sources, rainfall is also a potential source, whereby we have rainfall distribution in the range of from as low as 400 millimeter to some areas receiving in excess of 2,000 millimeter annually. But also one-third of the country receives 2 seasons of rainfall. So we see rainfall as a potential source when you're considering improving water availability and water accessibility. Rainwater uses in the country ranges from domestic and non-domestic uses. And when we talk about domestic uses, this includes drinking and cooking. When you're talking about non-domestic uses, this includes livestock keeping, but also as well as agricultural activities. But we have rainwater harvesting projects at large scale and small scale. When you talk about small scale, this includes those individual initiatives whereby one harvests from rooftop of one's household to meet the domestic needs and non-domestic needs of a family. And at large scale, we have projects harvesting surface runoff into dams and reservoir. And in ongoing, we have projects as large as over 470 million cubic meters dam under construction to harvest for community supply. So rainwater harvesting in the country is practiced at both rural and urban areas as well. However, there are concerns around rainwater harvesting technology, whereby people are concerned with the high investment cost when it comes to rainwater harvesting infrastructures, but at the same time, the concerns over quality. People would complain that I put water, but after a few days, I would notice the smell, I would notice the change of color, or I would even notice some insect. But also people are concerned whether the roof type they have will not be contaminating the water and affecting their health. All these are concerns. But also there are concerns on the quantity issues, whereby people would complain of rainwater not lasting towards the dry season period. So with all these concerns around rainwater harvesting, we feel obligated to provide answers as we are promoting the technology. So from practical experiences, from research works, we come up with feedback. And in place since 2020, we have the rainwater harvesting guideline, which offers guidance in most of the queries people have had in place, the concerns on how best to make use of rainwater as a domestic source, how to design the storage facilities, what are the considerations, but also the issues, finances, the issue of maintaining the quality of water. All these are captured in this guideline document. But as well as we are moving around, getting in contact with people, getting feedback from users, we notice things and we try to improve them. So we notice that most people would harvest rainwater straight from the roof into a storage tank. So you can imagine with a prolonged period of dry season, the accumulation of dust all gets to get washed into the storage system, and with the environment within the storage system is very much favorable in facilitating growth of all these microorganisms, which would later on people would complain about because of this entry of organic matter. So we advise on improved version of rainwater harvesting system, whereby we advise people on incorporating such features like a treatment components, whereby we have a facility like a flash tank or sedimentation tank with water prior entering the storage system would have to get filtered through these facilities. Hence, you can improve the quality of water, but also post-treatment after the storage system, prior consumption. I advise people on filtration system, the microfilters incorporation, or even boiling techniques, all these in efforts to make sure that people are enjoying the service of the rainwater harvesting technology. but also with concerns of water not lasting through the dry season period. From the research works, the daily water balance model, which makes use of accommodates the catchment size and incorporates with the rainfall distribution, also take into consideration the demand size to provide an estimate of the optimal storage size. Because we don't want in place to have a storage system whereby after a short duration of rainfall it's full and the water gets wasted as overflow. But at the same time, we don't want to have a storage system which is so large to the extent throughout the year it's never even half filled, so it's more of a waste of the finance resources. So we want that optimal storage whereby as the rainwater fills it, the water is getting out of consumption, but then there's that refilling process. But at the same time, we have water being available toward a certain period within the dry season. So you can see from the illustration, which is the output of the model, you can see the range of time within a year whereby the rainfall water is able to meet fully the demand of the given community or family. But at the same, we see that there's a period where it meets partially, and then that is when we have to consider the alternative supply to supplement the rainfall source, the rainwater, so that one is able to meet their water needs within a given period. So this is one example. But then at the same time, we know the rainwater fluctuates. So we advise also on people, because as you can see, the rainfall distribution in the country, there are some areas getting low rainfall to the extent that it can never fully meet the demand of a given family size. So in that scenario, we advise on dual supply, whereby you have rainwater plus another alternative source. So one assigns according, like, okay, from rainwater, I would like to cover the demands of drinking, and then from other source to meet the other demand. So with the fluctuation of the rainfall, the consumption is varied accordingly, and we know that would affect on the water level in the storage system. So in the end, one is able to meet fully the water self-sufficient, to be fully water self-sufficient. So all these updates in knowledge, all the advancement in techniques of rainwater harvesting technology, they are being shared through publications in academic platforms, but as well as in non-academic platforms in media outlets, whereby more people can reach and get to gain this knowledge, but at the same time, even in local language, so that more people can understand the information that is being shared and adopt it and apply it and improve the experience with rainwater harvesting. But at the same time, we understand the need for sustaining the technology. We want it to go through the generation with all these advancements, to go all the way to next generation. So with that in mind, we are involving children as well by establishing and constructing small physical rainwater harvesting model. We empower children. They get to experience how the rainwater harvesting system would look like, its components. They ask questions, they get to feel it and try it. They understand how to maintain it, how to manage it. So we believe with this knowledge, they can influence their own families, but then as they grow to understand it and later on even apply it. So then it is moved from generation to generation, and better yet, getting improved on, because they will notice a certain discrepancy, and we believe they would work to improve that. So in other approaches also, we are having this demo construction project. So within most of these happen within schools, primary, secondary school, and even healthy centers. So when it's around that environment, the children get involved, the pupils, in one way or the other, in helping out with the small activities. And we believe by that, they learn from seeing and also touching, actually getting involved. They get to understand the stepwise procedures towards having the system in place from the start all the way to when they can enjoy the service of the water. So we feel with that knowledge gets instilled in them, they get to understand it even better. So all these are efforts in empowering the children so that we can take the technology to other generation. But as well, Tanzania is very rich culturally as a country. We have over 120 tribes, all these with own tribal languages and traditional customs. But as well, within this, we have different music and dances which are custom to these tribes. And these approaches of dances and music have been used since ancient time as ways of spreading messages, sharing information, teaching certain lessons. And through this experience of listening to and watching the dances as they're getting soothed and relaxing, we believe it stimulates attentiveness. So then one gets educated, gets inspired and empowered and even motivated to do a certain thing that is being promoted. So this has remained a preferred approach to date. Whenever the government wants to raise awareness, dances would be used and music. So the same way we feel like all these knowledge updates on rainwater harvesting technology can reach more and far through songs and dances. So it's a way that is being incorporated as well in trying to promote the adoption of the technology in the country. So we have worked together with young children from secondary schools in one of the regions in the country to create this dance. We call it Rainwater Mvua dance. Mvua is the Swahili word for rainwater. So this one we'll see in a short time. Thank you very much. Rainwater for Sustainable Development.